Hello, good evening to all. Today we will discuss about communications again and its effective tools. So the communication process occurs when two important things takes place. The expressions of thought, feelings and effective listening. So that expected concept. So establishing fulfilling international interpersonal relationship is enhance the mastering of the communication process. Talking is easy, but communication requires skill. There is a difference between just talking and communications. It depends on what we are listen and speak skillfully, not just talk immediately or mindlessly. Okay, so we must talk to each other instead of at each other. So developing good communication habits make some confusion inheritance, but they becomes unfamiliar. Let's wait for another few seconds, for few minutes. Hello. Let's wait for 2 more minutes. Is my screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we will discuss about the communication process and what are the tips for effective communications. So communication is a kind of art. It is a not science. It is a kind of art things. And communication, what does it means? It means that transferring some information from one person to a other persons or a group of persons. So that may be called communications. You are talking to another people. That means you are transferring some knowledge, some information to other people in front of you, or maybe you are talking, giving a talk, expert talk, giving it, or teachers are taking lectures, or that are also a process of communications. One thing is transformation of knowledge. So today we will discuss about the effective art, sorry, effective tips for effective communication, and just short note about what is communications. So communication occurs when two important things takes place. What are the important thing? First thing is expression of the thoughts, and second is the listening. That means the persons who are talking or giving information, the expression itself saying something. If someone is having in a joy mood, or someone is having in sorrow, or someone is having a very sad mood, the way of talking, the way of expressing things, that differs. Second is the in front of the person who is listening, who is listen your, if you are talking something and you are giving information, but in front of you the person is not interested to listen you, then that is also not effective. So listening and talking both are equal having importance. So establishment of some relationship between the giving persons and taking persons the information. So both are very mutual understanding, having most having mutual understanding. And that's why this communication process is not only just talking something, but it is requires a skill to express your thoughts and give the information which is you want to give. So that information must give, and the person who is receive that also equally understand the information. So the information is not just a talking, it is giving some information. So that's why some necessary skills required, some necessary attention required to giving and receiving the information. So that communication process, that is called communication process. So the skill, or the what is the communication process? See the diagram here. The communication process is something, the information is outing from the source and it transfer to the receiver, the person source and second is the receiver. The two persons or two media are there. In between source and receiver there are different things are there, that are called encoding, medium of transferring, then decoding, then receiving. After receiving, if we understand the things, give the equal feedback to the source which is giving the information. So this is the mechanism of communication process. So this is the model for communication which is minimum having five parts. What is the five parts? Source, encoding, then channel of transferring the information, then decoding the information, then receiver who is receive the information. So what is the source? The source where the message is transfer or message is originate, that is the source. So what about the source who is giving the information, that must be clear and prompt. That means the source where the information is releases, if it is does not clear, if it is not in a good voice, then it cannot be understood by the receivers. Another example is that if the information is also good, prompt is also good, but the in front of the receiver who is not understanding the language, if you are do not understand French language and someone is talking giving very much important information in French or German language, so that is no use of you, because you do not decode that things. They are obviously they are telling the information by coding language or some language, French language, but that cannot be decoded by you. So the one channel decoding is missing, so the you are the receiver, you cannot get the message. So like that, the encoder, decoder and channel both, if any things is missing, then the information is incomplete, and that is having some ambiguity. So the manner which the person is speaking, if he is speaking politely or is speaking very angrily, that also depend what type of informations and the informations way that you also what is the strength and weakness of information, that also depends on that. Then what is the message? Message is the something, that information that the persons want to communicate, that want to express. Important thing is message. The message is originate from the source itself. If your message is very lengthy and disorganized, something, let's say some sentence you are going to be tell to other person, but the sentence is very lengthy and it grammatically incorrect or it is misorganized, that is not in a serially way, it is haphazard way, then also the receiver, that is, does not understand this message. So the message should be clear and very good language should be, and does not have some confusion of this message. So avoid of different swear words in this message, that is very much needed. Swear word means the message should be clear and does not having any off word. A person who communicates by sharing different ignorant, rude, ill-tempered, that is very difficult to understand, and the person in front of you that does not understand what you want to say. So the message should be, it can be distorted by emotions. If you are feeling some thing like angry, fearful, then also the process of what you want to tell, that you cannot express in a good way. So the message should be damaged in this case. Then third is encoding. What is encoding? The process of transferring the information which you want to say correctly decoded by the other ways. Means which way of communication transfer. Whether you are telling through your mouth, having some languages or Hindi, Englishes, or if you are giving the information not by telling or not by your verbal, but also in signaling, there can be signal, that here thumbs up, this is also one kind of information, means all goods. All goods, I do not say all goods, but I just say thumbs up as light lyrics. So in front of persons who is seeing this thumbs up, they understand, he understand, yes, he is earning all good. So that information, that is called encoding, and the understanding the person, that is called decoding. And second, the information is well, very good, pretty, like this hand symbol. So this is one kind of information. So all these are non-verbal informations, although these are the different symbols. So what are the code? If we do not understand what does mean the thumbs up, then that is no use of giving thumbs up to them. So like that. For example, here some about use of LOL or IRS in communication. We are just WhatsApp or where in our different social media, we just use different kinds of short words, LOL, MSG. So this is, that means it is the way of coding of the what information you want to exactly say. Then the channel, third thing is channel. Channel are the way where the message conveys, for example verbal, face to face, or third person delivering the message, or through telephone, or in front of you, or video conferencing, or by letter, email, anything, telegram, through which you give that information. That is the way of called channel. Directly face to face, that is also direct channel. By messaging something, text message, by WhatsApp messaging, by email, through email, just you express your emotions or your information to others. That is the channel. There are many numbers of channels are there, video conferencing, telephone, everything. So different channels have different strength and weakness. Every channel have its own strength and weakness. For example, it is not particularly effective for giving a long list of directions verbally when you are quickly cause problems or criticize. For example, there are a lots of clauses there, do's and don'ts, and very much different points are there, but you cannot say in a short duration time. In that case, you are just write an email expressing all the meanings and all these very long essay type of things. That is called email or some written information. So channel is written or email. Then decoding. Decoding means just successful encoding of the skill. Like decoding is to solving or carefully understanding the things what the encoder want to say. That is the decode. means properly understanding what are this meaning of the signal or meaning of the written. For some example, someone is written well, very good, so it does not know the English language, what is the meaning of well and very good, then it is no use. So decoding means to explain proper or examine or to be understanding that thing, that is called decoding. If, for example, answer these questions. Is there any federal law about a man marrying his widow sister? What are the examples? Now it is really understand that there are no law, so no widows and no is dead. So that means in this sentence there are so many things are hidden. That means the sister is widow, the man is marrying. So there are so many information hidden in this. It's just example. So next is receiver, means the message who's delivered someone, that is called receiver. So you have the message will be get to audience. It may be the receiver or maybe the audience. So through is each of these individuals enter the communication process through the response. So the receiver may be a single person or may be a group of persons. Here, the new company vice president right now delivering the news. For example, Geo, the Mukesh Ambani is telling some, announcing some exciting news. So that is giving information not just to his employees. He is also giving information to all the peoples. For example, Narendra Modi is telling some important talks in some debates or some kinds of information. So that address the whole nations. That is also kinds of informations. Hmm. Then last point is feedback process. Feedback means whether the source message is properly reached to the receiver. Yes, yes. If yes, then it understand or not. Then the resource is feedback is the way that the source can know whether the information is completely received and understand by the receiver or not. So the audience, the receiver is nothing but the audience. So verbal and non-verbal reactions, if someone reactions, because some information which you heard, then you have to give some reactions. After receiving the informations or the message, the audience giving some reactions. For examples, I just want to message you that your exam is postponed. If tomorrow is your exam and I just tonight just message you that your exam is postponed. So what is your reactions? Some student react very sadly and some react student very good manner. So that is the things. If what is the reactions after listening the message or decoding the message. So this receiver, the reactions, that may be verbal, may be non-verbal. Verbal mean the face-to-face talking. Non-verbal mean through different sign language, through emotions or some expressions. So that the receiver emotions or the expressions, seeing that the source or the telling the persons they understand where it is successful transferring of the message or not. Now, does everyone have questions? So this is the one kind of information the teacher asking. After giving a 1 hour lecture, the teacher is asking that, do you have any kinds of questions? Do you understand the things? The last sentence. So if the students are raise hand properly, then the teacher understand that yes, he successfully delivered the topic and student are understood. See the right side figure. If the student are feeling sleepy, no one having response to the teacher, then it means the student does not listen carefully to the teacher and the teacher having not the delivering of the lecture is not successful. So this kind of feedback, this is a feedback whether you are understand or not. Then context. So context means the situation which your message is delivered is the context. That means someone is in a very hurry mood or someone is what is the situations where you want to text deliver the proper things or message. What is the mood or what is the situation of the receiver? If the receiver does not have time to listen or the receivers having some other works, busy in other works, at that point you are just delivering the message, so the receiver may not be able to catch your word or maybe not able to understand the actual information. So the surrounding conditions which the receiver is present and you want to deliver. That is the context. For example, if you are watching India Pakistan cricket match and suddenly I just tell you that no, the rain is due to heavy rain, the match is get cancelled. So what is the reaction, what is the context? Due to the environmental situations, the message or the things should be very interrupt. So that means the situation which is called interrupt the context. So in the example here, the less I know, better off I am. Does this apply in context of the act test? So that means the higher your source is the better. So it should be not we talk about the pressure. So these are some examples. In that conditions, if you have exam and you does not have prepare yourself very good, and the exam you got a silly questions, so it is very good for you that in that context if you have no time to read and the exam is very well for you. Similarly, if the exam is very hard and you are read very well, that is the context, this is good for you. But someone does not read at that point, that is the context, the information is not good for him. So that is the situation. Then improve your message content. That means content means what you want to deliver or what you want to transfer in the message. That is the content. So that is very much important. What is you want to tell in front of you, in front of the persons. So that is the your contact. This is a simple examples are there. The message you can deliver in zone. Examples of door openers. That I am interested to what you are saying. What do you think? So do not go in details. That means if you do not understand or if you want to express what understand what is the receiver are saying, what the receiver are understanding or not. So these are some questions examples. So avoid expressing any negative feelings. You do not have any criticism. So that also you may also demotivate a positive statement. Always say a positive statement. Someone is, even if someone having poor health, but he does not say in your face, does not see in your face, it is look like is a very good person or good mood. So that expressions that in a positive way then can deliver the message, they deliver the information a very good way. The close communication gap between the relations and the behaviors, there is also important thing, communication gap means if you want to deliver some topic or deliver some information to others, but you do not have time, so just you tell someone third person, just tell him or her if information that you just spread these things to others. So at that point the third persons are what happened, it does not understand your message and deliver wrongly to message to the audience. So your message but you are indirectly delivered through these other persons. So in that case there is a gap in communications, so your message may not be delivered properly. So that are something are maybe happen. Avoid using any language that degrades your words. So whenever delivering some intent or content, also avoid this kind of interruptive word. And for example, smiling when irritated, laughing when worried. These are the contradict words also you can happen in order to not to express your feelings at that time. And the right the heart, that is active listening, that may be psychological truth. These are different examples, do not go in details. So then communications should manipulate or communication should lost its idea or lost is overweight. That also happens. For example, you are telling something information to your close friend in who is seated in behind you, then same information may be transferred the next person who is sitting behind you. Like that, after 10 persons, your initially given communication is not properly reached to the 10th people, 10 persons, because there is some kinds of manipulations or interpersonal additions or deletions may be happens. So do not communicate to deceive. That means aggregations, game, general expectations. So at the time also you have to take care. Let's pass on that. Email and text messaging channels. These are the different kinds of channels where the communication may be transferred to the mass media. If you want to tell something for a large number of people, then what you have to do? You have to do. You can say or record these things and viral in social media. So many people that can we do not know they are come to read or view your channels, can be your message can be transferred. Or maybe you are going for a television broadcast or radio broadcast and tell your message. So these are different kinds of messaging channels. Maybe email thousands numbers of people who do not know, so though your message can be transferred. So there are various methods to sending this thing. So the channels is different for different purposes, and this channels is also very much effective for your message information transformation. Then improve listening or decoding skill. So someone having does not having all does not having some decoding skill. So there are two types of listeners. Listeners means receiver, who was receiving the words of the person who is telling. So there are passive listening and active listening. Passive listening means when no feedback response is internet, that is called passive listening. For example, someone is telling in a radio or TV, just you are watching. So the person does not require any feedback from you. He just spread the message, whether you are listening or not, whether you have some that means react or not. It does not have any chances to know your reactions. But active listening means whenever you listen some talk or some information in front of the speaker, then the speaker has to understand whether you are understanding or not. That means your reactions, your feedback is important at that point. That is called active listening. So how are goods your active listening? If you take 12 apples from 21 apples, how many apples do you have? This is one kinds of test whether the listeners are active or not. If you are in a class, if you are teaching something, a teacher is teaching something, in between they are asking questions in order to check whether you are actively listening or you are just sitting in the classroom and your mind is should be away from the classroom. So even if you are in the classroom, you do not understand what teacher teaches. So that things in between the teacher wants whether you are in a mood of listening or not. So in between he may ask some kind of questions. If the teacher asks like that, then 12 apples, that is the feedback of many of people. So that is the does not actual answer for that. So this can be said that it is a passive listener. Then face the speaker. That is also one kind of sit of the straight when forward slightly, showing active body of the straight. That means the speaker, someone is telling, and your body position language, that also different speaker have understand whether you are listening or not. Maintain your eye contact with the speaker when the teacher is telling or when the speaker is saying something. Make eye contact with him in order to know that you are actively listening here. Minimize external directions. So turn off TV or to put down magazine when someone is telling something you. If you are talking in your phone and someone is telling you something, so you are does not having intention to the information. Even if the information is very much important, you have not understand very well. Response appropriately, focus solely on the speaker. So these are the different points where you have to minimize internal distractions. So there are different distractions, focus and speaker that may be disturbed. For example, in a ongoing cricket match, when there is huge crowd is there in a marketplace, there is huge crowd is there, and someone is telling something. At that point, you may not be understand that thing because due to external distraction, that's called as noise, and that can distract the information or message. So avoid letting speaker know that you are handle or similar situations. That means even the speaker is launching something against you, finish the defend yourself. That means someone is telling something and you are just pretending that yes I am understanding. So that is very much harmful. Then engage yourself, ask questions for clarifications. That is also a quality of good listener. Someone is telling something, if you do not understand what he is telling, just ask, yes pardonly, just can repeat the questions or explain, can you explain these things. For example, if you are attending a class and teacher is reading something, in between some sentence or something you do not understand, then clearly you have to free to ask. that is a good sign you are active listening to the teacher. The teacher does not feeling any to you. That is what that means. You have a good positive attempt to know the things. So that is called engaging yourself. Practicing comprehensions, that occasionally listener difficult to understand the materials in the open mood. At that time, just sometimes in that cases, the whole session can be recorded just like this session. I am telling something, I am explaining something, but everything you do not understand and does not having chance to ask me right now. But you can just recap this recording because everything here is recorded. You just listen the recording, and even it can your clarify doubt can be clarified. So that is also one kind of active listening. Avoid consciousness barriers and the good listening. Such barriers may be desire to be right, fears and other influences, self observation. So there are many emotional things are there. Someone is forcefully telling something, and if you are in a very fear mood, that is also not good. Asking questions, this is a very important thing. I already discussed. Questioning some things, both and source as well as receiver, both are necessary. For example, two person are talking to each other in a just normal way. So at that point, just you observe, there are some body movements are there, some questions are there, someone he is telling, someone she is telling. At that point, there is how, where, what, when, what these things. If you do not understand, then again asking the wh questions. The things that you are just deeply entered into the information. Communicating is a disagreement. That means difference between different normal type of difference of the resolving the conflict resolutions. For example, someone having quarrel with someone, and the third party who is going to be make a dispute or make to be understanding between two persons. So at that time, agreeing something statement may be drawn. For example, in the law or court, some two parties are there and the advocate is can be having some. So there are different positions are there. Rule for fair fighting, that means make a appointment to talk, create a time, maintain a time for the proper informations. For example, if you are sick and you are going for a doctor appointment, at that point the doctor appoint not haphazardly. He one by one can comes, and in your term you are going to the doctor's cabin, and the way doctor asking very carefully, and you will also ask, just answer the questions very carefully. So the conversation between you and the doctor should not be like a haphazard way, and the information exchange should not be missed. If that thing happens, then you are also in trouble and doctor is also in trouble. So at that point, that is very much important. That is called fire fighting. That means fair fighting. So all are should be good. Another example is the understanding the children's uh, information to the parents. See in their figure, if the husband wife both are having quarrel in front of the children, so that informations whether they are arguing for a good reason the or bad reasons, the children they are having some impact on that. So the understanding. So make statement that was I avoid statement with you. So this is one things of the communication or good communications. So do not go in details here. Allow the persons you are disagreeing with repeatedly called dignity, and argument ends with important. Recognize when compromise in the place symbol extent, and persons you are talking face saving way in the disagreement. If you are agree with someone, then the ending is different. If you are not agree with someone, whatever after the conversation, the ending is different. See the facial expression the of the different kinds of these situations here. The first situation is handshake between two parties who are after communication. That means the ending should be very good and both parties can be agree with the situations. Second figure, which is husband wife quarrels, like that. So someone is having arguing someone is, so that kind of thing. Then see in different situations there are different kinds of communication is ended. Men and are from Mars, women are from Venus. So this is one kind of publisher books where The understanding between the men psychology and women psychology is very much explained in this book, and it should be a very good book to understand the psychology behind the understanding, because always there is a answer, there is questions that after arguing or having some fights between husband and wife or brother and sister, whatever may be, man and woman. So if you know the mentality, if you know the psychology of each other, then you should better communicate. If someone, because sometimes someone is not clearly telling that he is agree with you or not, then at that point you just seeing the expressions or seeing the psychology of that, you should understand whether what is the information he is telling or not. So that is very much important. So this book is for those who are going to read the psychology, or man for woman, for both. Non-verbal communications. So non-verbal communication means you do not interact face to face, or you do not having some conversation face to face. Non-verbal means just by symbolic conversations. Non-verbal includes facial expressions, tones of voice, gestures, eye contact, spiritual agreements, everything. If someone is angry, very angry, through the expression by your red eye, you can see and know whether he is angry or not, like that. So these are the different non-verbal expression acts. Research suggests that non-verbal communication is important to understanding the human behavior. What is the emotions, what is the behavior, what is the psychology of that things should be known with this non-verbal communication. They are not clearly give the information through talking, but their facial expression, body language, you have to understand what who is in front of person is going to tell you. Proximity, cultural norms, debate, competition, all these things, eye contact, these are the non-verbal communications. Eye contact is an important channel for the communications. If you are agree, disagree, if you are having angry, if you see the eyes in front of the persons, you understand 50% things. See, these are some facial expressions. In this figure, you can see what is the psychology of in front of you. So, just smiling is a powerful cue. If the person that smiles perceived more likely to be friendly than the non-smiling or having angry person face. So, if you want to talk someone and just smile with smile, that means that is a positive things. If someone is very angry, that may not be smile. So there are lots of human psychology or human facial expression, and each facial expression having some different symbols or different communications. Gestures communicate loud, clear. These are also some kinds of thing. So showing hands, showing different kinds of body language. All these are a part of the communication. Posture of body orientations is communicate numerous messages by walking, talking, hand, sit. So whenever you are talking with a phone or in front of some other persons, by knowing or unknowingly, you have expressed your body language. For example, clapping. For example, so moving your hands up and down, eye movement, head movement, yes or no. So all are the body postures and expressions that every thing can be a type of communication. Humor, that are laughter, religious stress and tensions. This is a communication. If you are laughing and telling something, that means whether you are in a stress or you are in a very good mood. Paralinguistics, the fact of nonverbal communication, that is frequency and word sound rhythm, that is also telling whether you are what you want to listener or receiver want to tell something. Science, silence is effective. So silence is also one type of communications. Is if you question someone is asked questions and you remain silent. Someone is question asked and remain silent. For example, I just asking you a question. What is the origin of or which year the dinosaurs have originated or in our earth? For example, these questions you do not know the answer, or whatever the teacher asking you, you do not know the answer. So rather than you are telling the wrong answer, better is to give silent, remain silent. So this is also a communication that you do not know the answer. If you are remain silent, then the in front of persons who is asking, he just understand that you are silent means you do not know the answer. So this is the way or silence is as well effective. So this is some guess. This is a figure. It is some gesture or posture while the person is talking something. That means the confidence or the things we want to express, that having a good understanding, the knowledge it expressed. So that also very much important. See, these are the different kind of things. We do not go in details. So next we have to just go whether for good communication, tips for the good communications. So let me share the screen. So good communication, what are the procedure to follow to be for a good communications? So the important points to improve the communication skills. First is the communication skill is the 10% word. Whatever the word you want to tell, that is only 10%. 30% of tone of tuning, in which way you are going to tell this word. And 60% is your body language. That is the 100% the communication skill you want to deliver. So what is a tone? What is tuning? What is your body language? What is the situations? This is all important for your communications. If you do not having proper these things, then there is a miscommunication. That means whatever you want to express, that may not be properly delivered to the receptor. So these important points to improve the communication skill, these are first things, the confidence. If you do not have confidence, you do not express something in front of people. Enthusiasm, zeal, that means you know something, you have the interest and enthusiasm to telling, then also you have to give or deliver proper message to the audience. Third is clear objective or aim, where we are going to deliver, where we are going to give information. If this objective is not clear, then you cannot speak anything in front of the audience. If you have to give some lectures in front of 100 numbers of peoples, so that is the very much important. That means you are delivering something, communicate something. Fourth is self prepared script. Before you are, if you are not prepared before, then you cannot be deliver lectures in front of 100 people. So that is also very much important. Prepare yourself, what you want to do, what you want to say, that is should be preparations. Preparation is must. Then subject matter. If you do not know which subject you want to deliver a talk, that is very it is, you cannot deliver a talk immediately. So before that you have to prepare which subject you want to deliver. Then effective start. So after all preparation, everything, all audience are also there, and you are just going to deliver a talk, and initially you are feeling bored or some having not giving express properly. So the listener who is feeling that is this person is very shy, he cannot deliver the things. So the starting, that means in our some English words, nahi, and means first expression is the last expression. That means whatever you are started, right their way, the listeners are they are interest to you. Then next is clear voice. Whatever you say, clearly say. That means do not say like that means you have to say what is very clear mood. So that's why communication can be clearly delivered. Next, speed. If you say what are going to say, evening loudly, clearly, but in a very speed mood, like this, connection in the audience is this. So like this, you cannot be express, cannot be deliver the informations. So normal speed where the informations can be properly understand by the public people, so that it is very effective. Then logical presentation. What is logical? If you giving some presentations in a logic sense, that means which is possible, which is realistic, in a good positive attitude, then it is a very effective to the presenter and the listener also. Next is the audience. Who is audience? You are giving a talk, then the in front of you the person who are sitting, that are audience. So if you do not know your audience, you may not be a effective communicator, you may not be deliver a good talk. If you know our audience, for example, if you are going to deliver some scientific topic in front of a illiterate persons, so they are feeling bored, and your topic, even if you are very good speech, all things are okay, the message you want to deliver, that cannot be accepted by the people because they are illiterate, they do not know the things. So understanding who are the audience and what is the level of understanding of the audience, according to you deliver or the things, so that the audience can grasp it. Next is local language. It language is very necessary. If you are going for a rural village and the villager peoples are fully either in villages in Andhra Pradesh or maybe Tamil Nadu. So you do not know the Tamil language or in the Telugu language, and if you are going to talk with Hindi or some different language, so the audience cannot understand you. So local language is very much needed in order to properly deliver the message to the audience. 12th, effective delivering is a many very good things. If you deliver just to for a routine things, for example, it is a duty and just deliver it, so whether the persons are understand or not, you do not have any idea, so that information is not in use. And time limit, everything there is a time. For example, we are having here 1 hour class. If you I say that no, today instead of 1 hour I will giving lecture for continuously 4 hour or 5 hours, do you think that this is effective? After 1 hour maximum you feeling bored, also I am feeling bored. But whenever the things are by for doing forcefully and a large time limit is there, so or maybe I am saying no, within 5 minutes I will finish these slides, so short time and very long time also not effective. Proper time limit or understanding these things is very much necessary to deliver a good talk, that means transferring a good communication communicator and the message. 14 is prayer. What is prayer? Prayer is the way in which way you pray or your God. For example, if you are prayer something in front of God, which way you are going to tell that prayer means the communicate to you communicate with your God, that is called prayer. So the way you communicate to God, that is the relationship between the audience and you. You should not be very angry, you should not be in a very hurry mood. Both audience and the informations given or you, the relation is very good. So that is the very effective way for giving some communications. So these are the five things which may be very good for effective effective communication: speaking, writing, listening, reading, and non-verbal communication. We already discussed these things. These are the different way where different channels we are giving communication to the other. Speaking is the mode where effectively speak something in front of people, that is the speaking. Writing, you can write email, letters, message, text, telegram, whatever may be, through you can transfer the information. Listening, telephonic or video conferencing, you have to transfer information. Reading, someone having reading write some novel book, some reading some magazines or some books, and you just read that book, then also you have the graph the informations. So reading is one point of the transferring of knowledge or information. Lastly, non-verbal communication, we discuss the body language and the symbols that the in front of persons that can be execute. So these are the tips for effective communication. Let me share me again. So effective speaking, so this is also a way of communication. What is effective speaking? Remember the person who was telling, then puts hands to your pocket while you are speaking or converse. For example, if you are speaking with your teacher, supervisor, or if you're senior, then you do not speak in a very verbal way. Just standing in front of you, just very calm and quiet. But when you are speaking with your parents, when you are speaking with your friends, that position is not necessary. So, what way you are speaking and who is you are speaking, that is very important. So every person's having a different manner to speak. Do not chew something when you talk. If you are some chewing gum like that or talking, that is also not a good thing. Avoid playing upon an object. When we are talking, do not play something in your hand. Look at the persons not behind him. Eye contact is very necessary for effective speaking. Do not take your sunglasses. Do take off sunglasses. Means while speaking, it is manner is that take your sunglasses. Then public speaking, there are you should use presentations, visual aids, delivery. These are the three things are there. Presentation mean how the PPT you are making and that can be delivered because the eyes of peoples are in your PPT. So keep the mind your number of peoples are male, female and mixes. So while talking, delivering, you should address both male and female. That means whenever you are giving some talk, good morning or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So you are referring both male and female. But when you are not only good evening, ladies, or good evening only gentlemen, so this is not the way. So properly mention the thing. Determine general attitude or audience. Analyze the mood of audience, which way they can understand. Determine the audience understanding the subject. Preview the main points. Limit the speech of the four main points. The large representation includes various summary of the major points. So whenever preparing the presentation, you have to think all the things. Then visual aids. Visual aids show how things looks and all the things. So visual aids maybe highlight the information. See here in this PPT I just present it to you. I use different colors to show you the PPT. So that is called visual aids. What is the red? What is the importance of these violet colors and the blue colors? That important points are highlighted some things. So the visual aids while showing PPT all the things. Make sure this works. See here also delivery. Here also the different colors are there. So in order to highlight the important point, first is the eye contact. Second is the clearly speaking. Third is the good, not go very fast or not go very slow. Next is be sure that everyone hear to you. Speak your natural style. Do not exaggerate or overconfidence. Stand up straight. Do not be in hurry mood. The gesture position or the hand body language while delivering a talk or giving some communication is very much necessary. Effective writing, if you are writing something, fear of writing. If you are someone telling write down the essays, so fear of writing, the visual audience, make the audience note, all the things are very much necessary. Effective listening, look beyond the speaker, hold the rebuttal until you have to heard the message. That means whatever, if you do not know the things, clearly listen what the deliver want to speak. Then after that only you will just ask the questions. Listening, fight distractions, by closing your TV and TV, whatever you are listening something, information, close other disturbance point, TV, radio, mobile phone, that just make silence. Make meaningful notes, stay ahead of the speaker, evaluate and criticize the not the content of the speaker. So all the things are very important. Send effective reading. While you are read, all distractions should be stopped. Put your TV off, radio off, mobile off, besides from you. Then proper lighting is very much necessary to comfortable reading while reading your books. Do not make surrounding too comfortable. That yeah, I am very relaxed mood. Let I am going to sleep and reading in next morning. This might be happens. Read twice a better understanding. Once you are read for the understand. When you do not have any meaning of the words, use dictionary to understand these things. Do not just overlook it. Lastly, non-verbal communication are gesture, postures, local attitudes, vocal, eye behavior. We already discussed in last slides. So this is all about the communications, how it may be effective. That's all for today class. So tomorrow we have the last class of your semester. That is, what are the barriers for the effective communications? So what are the things? So that may be an important question for you, Anderson. So that's all for today. If you have any questions, then you may raise your hand or ask your questions here. Otherwise, we will be stop here. Let me mark your attendance first. Okay, so that's all for today. If you do not have any questions, best of luck. Tomorrow is the last class, so be present 8 p.m. tomorrow.